Hey guys, how's it going? This is Dave Sebastian, coordinator of mentoring arts programming with Wayside. I am back once again to hang out with you guys and do some artwork. We are coming to you from Old Shirleytown today on election day. Hope everybody has gotten out and voted. It's really important to have your voice be heard. You know, if you haven't heard that from anybody, it is the omnipresent message, right? Which is totally great, you know. So today we're going to work with a couple of a Marvel and a DC character that I have put together on a skateboard. I've been working on this piece, you know, on and off for a while, you know, and I felt like it was done, but the more I look at it, the more I think it needs a little bit more. So this is what this looks like right now. We got Man-Thing up here, and then the Swamp Thing over here. Like I said, I feel like he came out really good, but there's, you know, some of the deck's damage and that kind of stuff, you know, could be repaired. And then I feel like it just needs more. It needs some brighter greens and just some more detail. And when I did this with paint marker, I was limited in what I could get away with because paint markers were only so small and I only had so many. Today I have a dramatically larger collection of paint markers, including these guys, which is only a few of them, but these are custom markers that I made out of empties. Lot of different greens in there because that's really what I wanted to add. Right, the greens that we're using, I'm using airbrush. The custom paints are airbrush, Createx, Tim Gore. Bloodline illustration paints. I love these in the airbrush. I think they work really well, but I always wanted to have the control to be able to work with them as a marker. So I took some of these empty markers and we created some. This guy here is Blunt Trauma Umber. They also have some amazingly great names, which if you wanted to sell a marker to me, a name would be a lot. Like this is Injury Ochre. So that's what we're going to use for paint today is my custom markers that are Createx, and then all the rest are these guys all over here, Uni Posca. All these small ones are Uni Posca. In fact, one of the most motivating reasons to do this piece is these small Uni Poscas. Now this is a 0.7 millimeter paint marker as opposed to being ink or dye based. I have never used a paint marker that was this small before. Now there's 0.2 millimeter Multile markers, but the smaller Multile markers don't work quite as well as the at least the 4 millimeter. These guys just really work awesome. They're small, they totally do the job. And then their big brother, big sister would be these guys. These are not the biggest markers that Uni Posca makes, but they're probably the biggest one I would ever use. This guy here is an 8 millimeter. It's a great short, you know, size, and they come in 2 different nibs. This one is like a chisel. My favorite is the bullet. So we're going to use these guys. A lot of colors here that we probably won't use because there's mostly greens and browns and some subtle yellows and that kind of stuff. But we're going to see how it goes. We're going to start on the Man-Thing side and see if we can bring in a little bit of extra, you know, detail and a little bit more information. The layout that I used on this is I did with airbrush. So it's softer. Excuse me. I have a little bit of allergies happening today, so I apologize if I am sneezing on camera. Alright, I'll leave this guy over here in case we need it. Alright. So that's what we're going to do is we're going to work on adding some detail. I used the airbrush to lay this out, and I feel like it really came out great. But I was not quite as good at airbrush as I am today because now I can see that I could have done a lot more with the airbrush than I wound up doing. And I think I could go back with the paint markers and be able to really, you know, kind of fix it or kind of change it a little bit. So that's what we're going to try to do today. I am working at home because of the pandemic, obviously, like everyone. I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about my programs. Totally ridiculous to be blowing your nose on live stream. But I want to tell you guys a little bit about my programs. I am working with Wayside Youth and Family, which is a human service agency out of Framingham. I've been working with them for about 7 years. I love the work. We've created a partnership with the Department of Mental Health to create arts programming throughout Central Mass with young adults ages 16 to 26. On Wednesdays and Fridays from noon to from 10:30 to 3. From 10:30 to 3, I do an open studio program at Tempo Young Adult Resource Center, which is at 68 Henry Street in Framingham. That's open studio means you can kind of do whatever you want. My job is to facilitate the understanding the media that we offer there and helping to figure out the best solution to a visual problem. And then the term mentor really refers to creating artwork and having young adults watch you do it. So a lot of what I do is that. But we have a great time. But the pandemic has closed that program. I believe they're open right now by appointment, but not enough for us to do our work there. So I'm here doing that with you guys. Wednesdays and Fridays we're on Facebook. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday on YouTube. We are on YouTube today. Yesterday we did some of a Photoshop project. Really, start to finish a Photoshop project. Today is more about physical artwork. I don't know, as opposed to digital, I don't know if we will finish what we're working on today. I'm just not sure, but I think there's every chance. And I think that, looking forward to it. I think that it's going to be really, really cool. All right. So, without further ado, whatever that means. Somebody said that to me the other day, and I'm like, what's it do? I could see to-do, but a-do, I'm just not sure. All right. So, yeah. So we're going to get a little bit closer so that you guys can see, some of the stuff that I'm going to try to do. And I'm not sure how this light table is going to work for you guys. It works pretty good for me, giving me a lot of light in this area. I'm hoping you guys will be able to see everything well enough. Hold off on my eyeglasses for a sec. All right. So we got a lot of colors laid out here, a lot of different ways to get started. Try to loosen up some of our space here. So this guy here is your basic white. Uni Posca makes like a bone, and that's the one I'm looking for right now. Like an off-white. Yeah, we'll use beige. So the first thing I wanted to do was get a little bit of a highlight in this area here, where it's sort of like this is where it's facing the camera. I also want to change the fact that this area is so light. It's really, in the comic, it is green like the rest of him. Right, so we just want to bring a little light down here so that we can make some of these things turn a little bit more. That is not working so good for me. Too many shadows. You guys see that okay? All right. Now I'll see it way too hot. All right. So this is kind of like some underpainting, because I'm going to try to use these variety of whites to create more of a sort of a three-dimensionality in this, whatever you would call this, his face basically, but it's like his sort of snout, I guess. I don't know what this thing is. never in the Swamp Thing, in the Man Thing comic, did you ever get the impression that, you know, he was worried about breathing. He's, you know, unlike Swamp Thing, that seems to be a lesson in philosophical thought. You know, the Swamp Thing walks through the swamp thinking of stuff, where I don't believe Man Thing does. He's kind of more like rain or animal or something, tide. He just is, and he coincidentally shows up to help with trouble. Another thing I thought would be cool by getting more paint marker on here is just more coverage. You know, there's for me, there's sort of like a tendency to do a job, paint something, and be done with it. That's not the best way to paint, really. You know, because that assumes like a flatness to all of your work, right? Because if you just like this thing is this color, and then if you use that color, then you wind up with a flatter surface. Where if you drew it with one color and then slid to the side of a slightly different color and tried to build up colors, even if I had painted this whole guy white on a black background underneath, this painting, I feel like it would have had a little bit more sort of dynamics, and that's something that I've gotten a lot more interested in since I finished this painting. So I want to see if we can make it just a little better. Like I said, this is lighting. All right. There. Whoop. Try not to drop my markers. So this is like a brown. I feel like he is like mostly green. A little brown might not be bad, just to help with some of this transitions. It's always cooler when, like I said, there's just more, more color, more going on. It's just all this green seems like, it's too much. Now back here I was trying to get an effect, I was trying to get a fall away effect using the airbrush, and I don't feel like it worked that badly. Like, it's doing the job. So I'm a little bit concerned about adding darker, stronger colors through here, knowing that it's going to affect the darkness that I was able to get back here, or the softness, the sort of smokiness of the swamp. But I do still want to put a little in there. Often you can see me paint and then wipe it off. I think that getting the color in is very important, but sometimes it can just be too strong. So a great thing with paint marker is that you can wipe it, add a little, lower its opacity a little. Marker it again, do the same, and just kind of build up on the areas that you want. Right. Gonna definitely use some more rounds in here. I'm a big fan of contour, contour shading. It's pretty much like what I use to create roundness in my artwork. Kind of just jumping around a little, trying to add just a little more color here and there. Definitely going to come in with a bunch more green. So you can get this, let's get a little closer. There we go. You can get a little bit more bump going on, a little bit more light travel, adding this other color. Hard to see. Trying to get this idea of a little bit of bark in here, I always imagined the sort of branches that make up his body would be, swamp trees. I have always felt that Man-Thing was a ridiculous ripoff of the Swamp Thing character. Um, but, you know, he has a lot of cool... He's a cool character in and of himself, so the fact that he maybe started that way is, I think, just really doesn't matter anymore. Now he's just an awesome, character on his own. So this marker here I'm using is pretty big. But start kind of big, and then we're going to work a little smaller. Right. These green, kind of branches that are coming off here. Light green's fine. I'm just adding a little bit of a brown. A touch of brown, because let's face it, nature is color and browns mixed together, I feel like, mostly. Down here I was apparently painting some small flowers, and I gave up on it, so I didn't finish them. You guys still see what we're doing over here? You see that? All right, down here. All right. Getting off the edge of the board, I realize, so let's stop there for a sec. Let's try a little. Let's see what we just said. Yellow ochre. Always good to have a piece of paper with you. So I just use this to test my markers on. Mostly just make sure they're working as opposed to really testing their color, because you can't really test their color much against a yellow background. I'm just going to see if this guy can show up a little. Only problem with some of the airbrush markers is that they're transparent, which is awesome when you're airbrushing, but a little less than awesome using them as a paint marker. Though after I got this guy motivated a little, he seems good. If anybody hasn't used paint markers, one of the funnest things of them is starting them, which is the tip of the marker pushes down. And that's how you load them, both to start and if they start getting low on you. Just one sec. There we go. Just got to get my stuff back set up here again. Sorry, you guys. Oh, just one sec. Am I with you guys or what? There we go. Oh, yeah. Just trying to keep my reference somewhere where I can see it. Alright. Get a little closer. Alright, so we got those flowers happening. You know, that's cool. That's happening a little bit. Get in here and get a little bit more on our dark side here. Okay. Just mostly adding anywhere where there's yellow, using this as a dark cousin. Although how much yellow's in the swamp, like, I have no idea. I have been to the swamp, Okeechobee. I was mostly extremely scared, so. It's kind of a scary place, guys. A lot of alligators, you know. I saw alligators, which I don't think you could be there and not see alligators. They kind of, they're around. You know what I mean? So unfortunately, this ochre isn't working quite as well as I had hoped that it would. What do we got here? Sometimes these guys just don't want to work with you. Right. So a good way if a marker doesn't want to play is to flip the nib over. Now this color here, this old bone white color, and this beige are sort of friends, even though, man, I'll tell you, this guy is bright. Mostly using this to try to exaggerate the, you know, the curved nature of his snout thing. I am not sure what this is really supposed to be, but sometimes they just don't want to work with you. Another old bone white. That's this one. You can hear the ball bearing in these markers. Definitely helps keep everything moving. Same deal with this guy. Doesn't want to play. Same deal, really just using it to cut a little into this area here. it's cool for me to be able to look at what the artwork we're working on looks like on my monitor. Twice, actually, because I can watch it on my mixer and on my live stream from YouTube. It's cool too where this marker is the smaller size than the one I was just using. Got some small flies. I think we're gonna need a few more of those guys. Okay. So really the same thing, just trying to make these loops and stuff make sense. Since we added that other beige color, this old bone, it's just hoping to carry the same story as the last one. I think that helped that stuff a little bit. I do kind of feel like I was a little heavy-handed on the black through here. I wish I hadn't placed so much black there. That one's working really good. Let's try something else. Everything boy I'm looking for. This one is called Vile Green. It's kind of a darker green. I can't really remember if I used it on here or not. We're just going to bring it in as a darker green. Kind of in a lot of those places we just put the brown, like in those same kind of areas, so that we can okay. I hope it's not as hard for you guys to see as it is for me. So here I'm mostly just trying to get an additional tone, you know, to give some of these things a little bit of additional um, three-dimensionality or bump or depth. I feel like I say the same things over and over, you guys. I apologize for that. So each of these guys, I feel like we can blend in a little bit of green. This other green. All right. Some spots are just about the coverage I didn't get when I did this last time. You know, there's some places that there just isn't paint there. It's interesting how much different you look at something from over time. Like when I finished drawing this, painting this, I was really excited about it because it came out pretty much exactly the way I wanted it to. But these days I look at it a lot different, a different feeling, you know. Like I still like it, but I feel like I could have done more, which is why we're here today, so that I can do more. Not what I meant to do there at all. All right. Oh. Hold on one sec, guys. Nothing worse than losing your stuff. feel like this is a much different green, but I'm liking it. Just a little bit more back here to get a little more of a kind of grassy thing going. All right, so now we're kind of adding a little bit of transparent elements that'll hopefully, help us tell the story here. Too fixated on one side is never good. Right? Kind of liking what's happening with this green, Working pretty good. Alright. I'm going to try a different green. A smaller one. So maybe I can find my smaller green. Alright. This is what we'd call a basic green, but it is extremely small. I don't even know if you guys can see that, or if I can see it. See there, you can see it's a brighter, it's a brighter green. So this will sort of counter a lot of, if I can get it to work. Doesn't want to show up there at all. I guess it shows up in some spots. this is sort of be the opposite of the last thing we were doing, which isn't, you know, the brown. And then even that green that we were just using is a much, much darker green than this one. Not have a large green. That's interesting. Definitely thought I did. Gray. Like I said, being colorblind is tremendously inconvenient, even when ordering, clearly. All right, well, in finding an intermediary green, I'm going to keep using that one, but we need like a lighter one. What we got in here? This guy's blue. Whoop, this guy's got no cap. Anyway, anything else we got? Future green. That one's kind of dark also. Which is darker. Oh, I think this is the same. Huh. Need a lighter green. Maybe I'll try something with the red while we're trying to figure that out. Well, I'm trying to think about what I want to do. This is a really different red. I'll help us to give some additional sort of dynamics. I feel like this is really orangey. So we're going to go back over it with more of like a darker red. So we can use this red that we just put in, the orangey one, as a base to put this darker on top of it. Over here, because of how far it is from the camera, it might just make sense to just kind of leave it. Not use the orange. But an additional red definitely, I think, makes it look cooler. a little red in the black, I think, helps too. Even on this little highlight here. Going with a little regular yellow. Just kind of see what the yellow looks like compared to the yellow I used here, which easily could have been the same yellow. So I think this time we're gonna just kind of go through here and give it a little personality since it's part of his eye. Alright, a little yellow through there. Now since we have the yellow, let's go around and use a little more yellow. Same thing, like, you know, like, I don't want all this stuff to scream off the page, but we want it to have a little more going on than it does right now. Nothing like flower painting for therapeutic purposes. Whoop, wait. Alright. Just trying to, there's these flowers around that I placed here, and they just seem to be getting lost. Even though I want them to not be as hot as they are at this moment, I do need them to be a little bit more. Okay. I think we need a little darker green. Oh, this guy is our future green, right? Which is pretty much the same as the other one. This guy, yeah, little dark. Let's try this one first. So this is the one that was a little brighter. Kind of hard to get up against the background. Yeah, that guy's not doing enough. Let's try the vial green instead. Much darker. Not quite that dark. Maybe in the areas in between. Right. All right. here's a spot where the board is damaged. It's a good place to try to fix some stuff. You guys see that all right? I realize the reflection is rough. Here's what we've done so far though. I like it. I think it's really going, it's really going good. These multiple greens and stuff I think are making a real big difference. Even the yellows are making a difference, you know. I want a little bit of this yellow in there. What color is this one? Orange or something. I wonder why it didn't look like yellow. Because it wasn't yellow. Hold on one sec, guys. Hey guys, I had an idea. I was thinking maybe we could make a custom marker right now for an additional green. Now I'm not sure if I have an additional green that's different, but I feel like we'll give it a shot. You know, I have a bunch of airbrush paint here that I don't have a marker of. Excuse me. So let's take a look. We got blue, violet, bright green. We got some pearls, some red, reducer. Oh, we got two greens. These guys are empty markers. They're different sizes. Those are the 2mm, and these are, you know, what I consider to be the typical Maltal size, which is a 4mm. Yep. So these guys are pretty awesome, right? Like one of the things I mostly, you know, Uni Posca is my funnest marker to physically paint with, but that's a short-term thing. The thing I love the most would be Maltal. I have way more Maltal markers than Uni Posca, mostly because Maltal simply makes more. But I also love the way they have developed their science, you know, or their engineering. When I was a kid, and probably a lot of people out there, paint markers were totally garbage. They were oil-based or alcohol-based, and they always spilled on you. Too thin or too thick, they were just always a problem. So when I first heard about paint markers, I was not excited. But the paint marker revolution has happened because of Maltau. So one of the reasons that they're so awesome is this right here, which is the capillary system of the the capillary system of the airbrush of the marker, which is really a spring. Excuse me, guys. Which is really a spring that just dips the tip down into the reservoir of paint. This much paint right here is how much we can fit in the marker. That's a lot. And one of the best things is once you buy a marker, you don't have to go buy it again. If this runs out, I just refill it, and that's a really, really great deal. Now, of course, the task of buying the markers either empty or filled and then buying refills, is something significant. But they offer a variety of sizes. Like this is a refill, a smaller refill. This guy is 36 milliliters, but they're not expensive. This guy right here was, I don't know, I'm thinking like maybe $6. You can refill a marker 3 times with that. And then they make the dramatically larger sizes. The next size up is 84 milliliters, and it's a good sized jug, and it'll get the refill. Let me show you. So this guy right here is the this one is actually, it's a 180 milliliter container, and these are, they're awesome. It has sort of its own style of fill, but I like it. All right, so let's fill one up. Which one should we use? Moss green, which looks like a darker green, or this guy that is calling himself bright green? I think we need a bright green. So all you do, unscrew the top of your marker, pull out your capillary system, put down a piece of paper, because one thing we don't want to do is spill paint all over artwork that we're doing. Now, I've had this paint for a long time, so I'm not sure, the quality or if I can even get it out of this container. It does sound as though it is still liquid, which is oftentimes you shake a paint. For me, oftentimes I shake a paint and it doesn't make that noise, and that's because it is dried up. This guy seems like it only had trouble with the tip. Now, coming out like this, not a great idea. Not great. Also going to back up a little, so if I spill it on the floor and not on the artwork, since it just spilled. All right, these guys are water-based, so if I find it's, if I find it's really, really too thick, you can just add some water. Also, if you get it all over your hands like a bonehead, you can clean it off. All right. So I'm hoping we got this guy thinned up a little, and then see if we can get him in a little tighter. So all I'm doing is squeezing this bottle of paint into our marker body. Oh, it's a little thick, but we did get it filled in there. Now, one thing that's always a problem, especially for me, is when I put too much in. And if you put too much, when you push your capillary system in, it's going to blow out the side. In this particular one, I don't think I did as bad as I normally do. Seems like just a little bit popped out. So then after you do that, especially if your Capillary system is popping up a little. You just screw this cap down, and inside the cap is our nib, right? So the nib, whoops. So now the nib is dry, and it's sitting up out of the paint. So what we need to do is to load it. So that's get in a little closer, like this. You guys see my beard okay? Alright, so what I just want to show you guys is activating the nib. It's one of my favorite things to do. And sometimes it takes a little while, and I apologize. Let's see if we can get in a spot that you guys can see it. There we go. So all we're doing is trying to get this felt nib, which we've just stuck into the paint, to absorb some of the paint. Now once we get it going, it is definitely one of my favorite things to see. Sorry about being so entirely too close to my beard. Coming. Once it starts to go, I'll show it to you guys again. This is one of the problems of the paint being a little thick, you know, is it takes a little bit for the nib to catch up. Thought I had a bottle of water in here for just this purpose. Getting there. No fun spending like 2 minutes starting a marker, but I think it's going to help us. It could be a good color to add to the rest of this. I don't know if you guys can see, but it's just starting in the corner there. Almost. So once it starts to come down, it's starting to load. We were talking about once making a video of just loading new markers. Might be interesting, might be slow. Might be slow. Especially this one, which is seeming to take like an eternity. And the natural tendency is to push harder, you think it'll go faster, or to push it more, where actually it seems to me that the best way to go would be to put it in to the paint and then let it sit, right? But in this, in the interest of time, grab another paper towel. I believe we're gonna just flip our nib here. Alright, so all you do is grab your nib out, flip it, stick it in. So now this end is totally soaked in paint because we've had it in there for the last little while. Now unfortunately, this guy's not working as well as I would like him to. So we just gotta poke around for a sec, see where my Mr. Bottle got to. Hello, hello, Mr. Bottle. Huh. Don't see him around. Alright, well. Alright, so grab some water here so that we can use it as a dip to help get our marker going. These here are some little tattoo cups. Just going to put a little water in one of them. Set our water aside. Put our marker in the water for a sec. Sometimes this helps, sometimes not. All we're doing is softening up the nib to allow the paint to come down in there a little better. It would be absolutely typical that I wanted to do this with you guys and that it would not work. My thinking is that the green is just a little too thick, which I think we all thought when we put it in there. There's a thing called a refill extension that they make for, oh yeah, no kidding, huh? There might just be no paint in here. Seemed like most of it was just up here at the top. Whoops, in my hand. Let's try to mix this again. All right. See if we can mix some of that water in. Hopefully it'll help our marker a little. Oh yeah, look at now it pours out. But that's probably because the marker is like, the paint is like right at the top. It's coming out, but I wish it was coming out a little better. Let's see what it looks like here. Definitely looks like a lighter green. Make sure my fingers don't have any paint on them. Moved the light a lot. All right. No. I'm one of these old school folks that is always putting the cap of their marker on the back. Doesn't always work though. Let's see if this is much brighter. Oh, yeah, I like that. So it's supposed to be kind of transparent, and it is, but it's doing some cool stuff. Oh yeah. Now this is working great. Right. Oops, sorry guys. Back up a little. This green is doing, it's a really interesting transparent color, which I like. Doesn't seem to change the colors a lot, just kind of gives them a greener tone. this Uni Posca really thin green, you know, did a lot to help. This guy here, we gotta make sure we make a label for him. I like to use this label maker. There we go. I like to use this label maker because it does a really, really clean job. And the sticker kind of helps me. So we're going to call it, it's transparent bright green. We'll call it trans light green. All right, and then you just hit print. And it spits out our little label here. Cut it off. And then this is absolutely the hardest part, which is peeling the tape from it. Especially if you're old and your nails are tiny. All right, there we go. Now we got this guy, and all we need is our very small green. I feel like these little lines with this other green is awesome. Now it just brings that background up a little. Down here. Right. All right. Don't want to add too much to the background because we do want him to be kind of a mysterious guy disappearing into the mist, which is why I'm using this really light green for this, the grass coming off of him, because you almost can't even see it, but it does, it is there, so it helps. All right, sorry about that, guys. Just help cut back on how much of that black is in there. Another one of these flowers here. We need our yellow ochre. There we go. Pushes them down a little bit. Unfortunately, I don't even think you can really see this one. maybe a little, just on the white lines. All right. Okay. What else? Should probably have just a little more mixed in, you know? Be careful you don't stick your hand in wet paint. It can screw everything up, like right there. Which would be some green that I dripped on here somehow. Awesome. Luckily, we have our old bone white, which was entirely too much before, but it should be perfect right now. Where are you, old bone white? In my hand? Oh, not this time for once. There we go. I wish that had not have happened, though. It wouldn't have happened if I hadn't been doing silly stuff with the greens. Right? Right. Just kind of cut down on how black some of these lines are. Definitely digging what's happening right there. All right. Maybe a little more of this bone in this area over here. My reference, and in comics generally speaking, these things are pretty much green on them, you know? These things. But I don't care. I feel like when I was a kid, they were white. What else we can use? We got our vial green. Colors that we've used so far. Alright, this is Decay, which is a different brown. It's a little bit of a darker brown, I guess, but my thinking is that pull it into the distance here. So I want to use this brown, but I want to definitely kind of just blend it in. This brown is called Decay, and it's from the Bloodline Createx colors by Tim Gore. I'm not going to lie, I got into these colors because of the name, but I think they're awesome, so they're great colors too. I like these sort of like offshoots, you know. Our super tiny green again, if I can find it. Though now I realize these are extremely small details, and it's, I'm sure, very hard to see. But I think that they're important, and I think that they add, you know, some stuff. Excuse me. A little more yellow down there. All right. Just get, you know, down through here, it's really dark. And he's facing away from the camera, so it makes sense, but I just want to have a little bit more of him to be able to see. And I don't know if this green is the right way to go, but if I put this green down, I should be able to put some more green, a different green on top of it, which I think I will do. Whoops. Don't want the deck to move on you. bit to help tame that. That green is a little bit different than a lot of the other colors that we're using here, which is cool in its own way, but is also kind of a little jarring in relation to some of the colors around it. Really wishing I had another really tiny different green. I keep thinking of ink tints, which ink tints is something else I use a lot, and there's an extremely bright green. Let me check one thing. You can come though. You can still come over though. I don't want to. Sorry, I got these little nieces that are amazing, and every once in a while they're interested in talking to me. And so you got to take what you could get. You know what I mean? I would have liked to bring them to talk to you guys, but my wife is scared. She doesn't want to be on camera. So this color is an Uni Posca color, and it is light green, which I think is exactly what we need here. I do have too much water in front of me. Cool, so let's take a look at how it looks. Oh man, look at that. Bright as heck. But that's kind of okay, so then we can build up some even additional stuff. Like this grass up here, it seems like if we wanted to read, it would be really brightly colored. Looks a little different than the one we've been using, but not 100%. I wonder. Whoa! Like the other ones, it kind of drips a lot if you push too hard. So this is just a little heat, we don't have a lot of that. Definitely getting severely muted up here in this area. So having this odd green, I think, helps. Yeah, I'm liking this. This is getting there. I'm obviously getting the impression we're probably not going to make it to Swamp Thing in today's session, but there's always another day, God willing. this is a serious green. I love it. I need our yellow ochre. Just around the edges. Just around the edges, you know what I mean? All right. I'd bring my boy Sean over to say hello, but he's not dressed at the moment.
Nope. Hi guys.
Hey, Shawnee.
Did he start the live stream late?
About 10 more minutes.
Cause I heard it at like 3:20 and said, "What's up, guys?" Like it just started.
I was late, that's true.
I posted a new YouTube video, so if you are subscribed, go watch it.
Crass self-promotion from my boy Shawnee.
Also follow my TikTok account, aewdarbyallen.world, and then, which is like TikTok 2.0, it's called Bite. So follow my Bite account, which is aewdarbyallen.
Okay.
So it's my TikTok account just without the B and Darby, and then without the .world.
Sounds good.
What are you working on right now, people?
Skateboards.
Nice.
Rude to have a conversation with someone off camera while I'm on camera.
Sorry, guys. I'm trying to find something. Just so I can quickly appear.
What do you need? Sorry, guys.
You have to stop recording.
Kids, man, they're always asking stuff during the live stream. I don't know what
Well,
that
I just want to appear and say hi to your fans.
is. To my fans. Are you guys my fans? Don't answer that.
No, say
I don't need you to be my fans. I just need you to watch my thing, dudes.
Comment in the comment section if you're an actual fan of his. Hey.
Oh, there he is.
Hi, guys.
Look, it's my boy Shawnee.
Just without a shirt.
He's showing up, saying hello.
But on all my TikToks, I don't have a shirt.
Silly. Very silly. Well, you know, don't always have to wear a shirt, I suppose.
So how's the live stream going?
It's going okay. We're working on this painting here, and it seems to be
So
coming
yeah,
along.
you did start out. Wait. I'll be right back, guys.
Okay. Everybody ready? Shawnee's coming back. Alright, here I wanted a little bit of a yellow thing going on there, but I got a little too much. Alright. That's our old bone white. And our other green here. I just want to make a few more little roots.
Back. I'm back, guys.
Oh. I'll come back, Shawnee.
Guys liking his skateboard? He doesn't actually skateboard. I want to mail this out to wrestler Darby Allen or Crazy Middles.
Alright.
Comment in the comment section below. What time did you join this live stream? I know it's a little crazy one, but comment if you're his fans, if you like wrestling, or if... Yeah.
Alright, buddy. You gotta
Alright.
work.
Bye, guys.
Say bye, Shawnee.
See ya.
Catch up with you later, buddy.
Alright.
Well, alarm's
Have a
on.
good live stream.
Thank you.
It's too sweet.
What I'm trying to do is touch it to take away some of its opacity, but if you touch it and wipe, you take away all of its opacity, and that's not what we want. Huh. This is really the next, the Swamp Thing side. I can tell because the plant is upside down. Okay. Okay. Alright. Now we'll go with the dreaded black, which is something that always kind of messes with me. Alright. Very easy to overuse black because it's so strong and it changes everything you do just a little. Or a wicked lot if you make a big mistake. Alright, just a little black here and there to help a little. Oops, sorry. Just wrapping it up. Hi, Maul.
Hello.
We got more visitors. Now we got Maul. She's been away for 2 days, and now she's back.
Not
We missed her.
today.
We're just wrapping up for today.
Wow.
We worked on this thing. You guys want to check it out? See what we got to?
How long left? Like 20 seconds?
5 minutes. So that's how much we painted today. Maybe we get a little closer. So I don't know. I like it. I think a lot more stuff happened. We pulled out a lot more information. It feels a lot more three-dimensional and stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna keep working on it, I'm sure. But you guys can't hang out with me anymore.
Fun.
I gotta go. Thank you so much for hanging out. Me and Ma would like to say, what do you want to say, Ma?
Bye.
Say, what's this camera there?
Bye bye.
Say bye. You wave a little.